Welcome to the Raw Review. I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, joined by Lord Dadley Boyz, Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Miscellaneous Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete. A mega quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to review Monday Night Raw. Michael Sidgwick taking a well-earned day off today. What a show this was.
It was good. It was the kind of good where Booker T puts a T on the end when he says good.
Yes.
I just had such a thoroughly enjoyable time with this one. And yesterday, my... not concerns. I have zero concerns over WWE's creative in 2024. That's the reality we're in. I didn't expect it either. I have nothing to worry about, I feel, from the things I expect and things I want to see and all that kind of thing. But my observations, I think, of last week's Raw, broadly, were the stuff that is peaking for the pay-per-view has almost, like, entirely already peaked, which has meant, like, the stuff that should feel like the biggest headline, lead story stuff is flagging a bit compared to the stuff that's bubbling underneath. This Raw was a sort of perfect combination of both firing.
Yes.
I got such excitement and buzz and was sort of all my senses were firing on the possibilities of the stories that are bubbling under. And I think WWE kind of acknowledged here that everything that is set for Bad Blood is fully formed, is fully cooked.
Yeah.
And they just gave you, I mean, there's one really exciting detail that I think we're both buzzing. Like, dare I say a victory lap? Certainly some manifestation. But there's one thing we're very much excited about development for Bad Blood. But otherwise, I think they almost acknowledged, yeah, they're ready. Yeah. And then everything else got the focus as a result. And I thought Raw was stronger for it.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that next week is the go-home show for Bad Blood for the stuff they've already booked for that show.
Yeah.
It's like the end of the world is coming next Saturday or whenever it is. Sunday, I never know which day it is.
Yeah.
But also, don't miss next Monday as well. My God, I mean...
And coming to be fair as well, what is useful, I'm only just sort of thinking about this now, with Bad Blood feeling like the final stop for, well, like, what are we, 3 Raw matches at the moment? I don't think they're going to get to go into Sami for that.
No, they're not now.
3
I
Raw
agree.
matches. Bad Blood feels like the final destination, for the time being at least, the Rumble can throw things up, of all 3 of those big matches. Finn and Damien, Liv and Rhea, Punk and Drew.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like final destination, all big matches, all big consequences, all that kind of thing. And then, in the meantime, all the other stuff that's been bubbling under is getting ready to sort of like come to the boil a little bit, right as Raw goes back to 2 hours. So you kind of lift all those programs out of what you currently need in your 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you've got it's the first 2 hour Raw is then Bad Blood
Post show, yeah.
Fallout, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there you go. So I think it's probably been timed out quite nicely in that that'll be when a lot of these other programs that are simmering can.
How long's it been? 10 years it's had 3 hours?
10 years.
I'm not going to know what to do with myself on that Tuesday morning. You know, you're just suddenly like, why have I got like half an hour of spare time?
Yeah, just getting up early as normal. Like, I don't think I'll end up sleeping in any earlier. I think my body clock is I don't like it that much, but I'm attuned to the very, very early starts because of the Raw NXT Dynamite run. Yeah. I'm so used to that, PLEs and pay-per-views when they happen on Saturdays and Sundays, that I don't feel like I'm going to be getting up any earlier. But maybe like a cup of tea before I leave the house. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it feels.
Treat yourself.
I'm genuinely sort of interested to see how they pace these shows, because if they themselves are so used to featuring the amount of characters they feature on a Monday, if they want to feature all of them in 2 hours, are things just going to be faster paced? Is it going to feel like a sort of a quicker, a faster moving show as a result?
I mean, I love epics, but I think my favourite movies are around sort of 2 hours, so that's going to be a relief when Raw starts creating even more cinema in a couple of weeks' time.
In January, would you say you're going to probably prefer 3 hours?
Yeah, I go back to 3 hours. Yeah, I've had my, it's winter.
Yep.
Now it's happening, is it?
Would you say you like films on Netflix, or would you say you enjoy made-for-TV movies on, for example, the USA Network?
Netflix. That's where cinema is.
Well, would you not enjoy sort of a made-for-TV movie, say, of a weekend, like on USA? Like, would you not sort of want, say, like, maybe a 2-hour mini-movie in the week, maybe on a Tuesday on CW, for example?
Yeah, exactly. You want to mix up your content and
then
what you're taking
just
in.
on the weekend, settle in. So, see USA have put on another 3-hour epic. There's a lot of films now, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
A lot of films out. It's Cannes every week. It's TIFF.
Yeah.
The big film festivals.
I don't know, no idea. London, do they have one?
Probably. It's Oxford Circus premiere every week. Every week's a premiere.
This show opened with
I've already switched off.
Everyone turning up to the arena. Jey, Braun, etc. Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and Hello Ryder.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a toy sold by Mattel.
Right.
Although Rey Mysterio comes with it.
Right.
But then again, I'm sure they can find another gimmick to sell with a Dominic Mysterio toy very soon. So
coming soon. And they've done that in the past as well. They use that exact match for the purposes of selling their toy.
Exactly. Speaking of which, speaking of people who've been involved in angles to sell toys.
With vehicles.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Liv and Dom are walking through the loading dock when Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, who in my head have been fighting from last week's show across the country to this week's show. They smashed through a merch stand and all the officials come in to try and separate them, and it's an impossible job.
Wonderful. We'll get to more of that later on. Just wonderful.
So Liv and Dom walk through, they do the follow thing, make their entrance, boos echo around the arena. They get on the mic and Liv says, that was our victory lap, me and Dom's, because the Liv Morgan revenge story is going just as planned. They show footage of what happened with Dom and Priest last week. Yes, Priest got the win, but Judgment Day beat him down afterwards. Street trash. Not just Damian Priest, but Rhea Ripley as well. Liv talked about promising to take the women's title from Rhea, to take the Judgment Day from her, and taking the most gorgeous man in the world, Dominic Mysterio. They're all mine, she says. But out comes Rhea. She's heard enough. She says, hey, Liv, don't worry, I'm not going to hit you. Mammy chants just deafening here. So much so that Liv says, shut up, everybody. Ripley says, I've got something for you, Liv. Dom steps between them. And Liv basically says, maybe Dom would have stayed with you, Rhea, if you'd cared as much for him as you do for Damian Priest. Liv says, what are you out here to announce that your injured leg means you can't fight at Bad Blood? I'll beat you whatever happens. Not because I'm bigger or stronger, because I'm smarter. I was like, why are you setting yourself up for this, Liv? Liv says, oh, no, actually, I am medically cleared for Bad Blood.
Clear Ripley.
But Postman Pierce has made a rule, and Dominic, at Bad Blood, you're going back behind bars. Also, Dominic Mysterio had some amazing lines throughout this show, one of which here, I can't go back. Because during the women's title match, Dom is going to be hanging from a shark cage.
Oh my God.
Nowhere to hide, no one to help you. I'm going to win back the thing I never lost, my women's world title, Liv. Oh, another thing, what I said before, I lied. She didn't say that, but in my head, she said, and headbutts Liv Morgan, lays her out. And I just thought, well, this show's off to an absolute flyer.
Yep, magic. Just a kind of perfect opening 10 minutes of wrestling television. You've put sharp focus on two of the most over heels on your show. In the process, you've like very organically kick-started another great night for Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman off all the momentum they built up from last week in particular. And then you've done a fantastic job of making your babyface look, well, what do we ask for? We want babyfaces to be smart, we want them to be tough, and we want them to be bold and brave. And Rhea Ripley was all of those things. This was not just creatively very satisfying as a fan and as an analyst, because you can just break, check out the SmackDown review podcast that is now on YouTube, but is available wherever you get them in audio as well, where I was at pains to try and put over just how effective like the last sort of 15 minutes of SmackDown was in terms of the cast of characters and how useful it was for everybody involved. This was the same here. Like, they are making the overlapping stuff look easy. Yeah. Quite honestly. Like, they are, WWE are, like, I will hold 2023 very close to my heart, but I think it was as much because I couldn't believe it was happening full stop after like 20 plus years of absolute dreck. B, I couldn't believe they were managing it in the shadow of the WrestleMania 39 finish and all the divisiveness that brought. But 2024, like without those caveats, and I am just watching. I don't need to be like no ands, ifs or buts sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's the peak now. And we're in September, which used to be WWE's. There was the post WrestleMania slump. There was the post SummerSlam slump. There was 20 years that was pretty much just a slump. It was all slump city, baby. And this is what was traditionally their cold time of year, and it just continues to roll in such a way that I myself can't believe. And I'm now, I'm so pleased to be able to watch Raw and feel like the bar for my enjoyment is like up here.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking up as what I expect. I'm pretty critical of SmackDown. We have a lot of fun covering SmackDown, but I often am pretty critical of it as a TV show, and I have serious questions about maybe the balance of the rosters and stuff. But I'm watching Raw with a high bar and opening sort of 15, 20 minutes, not just the quality and not just the things that, I haven't even mentioned the shark cage yet, but like in terms of the use of the talent from an analytical point of view, I'm just seeing quality at the ace, and I'm getting... That's me thinking about it. I want to feel first and think second.
Yes.
I am feeling joy upon top of joy upon top of joy upon top of joy. And the latest celebration of that is Dominic Mysterio being hoisted up in a shark cage. He's going to be brilliant in that thing.
Have you seen the photo of him from the graphic?
Yeah.
He's like, hey.
He's like, I'm the right wanker me and I'm in a cage. Like it's fantastic. The behind bars symbolism of it isn't even something I'd considered. I was just laughing at how funny it would be to have him up there. Like when we talked about custody of Dominic ladder match, it was funny to think of him having to like hold on to one of them things that the belts hang off, up in a cage. And it's almost a subversion of that because Rhea doesn't want him. They're not fighting to get him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Keep him up there for me.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, shark cage. We sort of alluded to that quite a few times, haven't we? Saying that would be a lovely touch. And there was that period they had where they seemed to be getting their money's worth out of the shark cage. But yeah, I'm so excited that I can't think of the exact spot that I want to happen. There's so many variables here.
What if, right? He does the sort of the iconic China escape. I think that they sort of did it with Enzo.
Enzo sort of oiled himself up, didn't he? Got out.
And it's like Enzo was like the less dignified version of the China one, and so you'd go down the less dignified route for Dom, right? He somehow managed to sneak a key. Because from his prison experience, he pulls out like a giant cake, cakes himself in the face, and there's a key in there, and gets out the shark cage, and he's trying to clamber down, but he's hanging from he's like, it's too high, and then there's all carnage in the ring, right? And of all the people, as there's like sort of the here comes Street Trash, here come the LWO, that sort of thing, it's Rey Mysterio looking up in the center, and he looks up, and Dom's like, well, we're going to drop on you, and he lands on Rey's shoulders, and Rey does an electric chair.
Oh, can you imagine?
Bit of LTST. That's a bit of a deep cut for the listeners and viewers. We never really talked about that much. We always had this idea about an electric chair spot.
Mm-hmm.
Was it even on mics?
Was it even committed to?
Yeah, I don't know. Office? I don't know.
But yeah, great open to the show. And it was followed by a really fun match. It was Sami Zayn versus Ludwig Kaiser. Early on, Kaiser sends Zayn into the ring post and then chucks him into the ring steps. And then Sami comes back, chops Kaiser, whips him into the barricade, but Kaiser reverses. Sami goes to do the bit where he lands on the barricade and jumps back off. And Kaiser just pushed him into the ring announcers area.
Oh my God. And Sami was a crumpled heap as a result.
A couple of times during this match, I thought, is he dead?
Yeah.
Because he's just so, just...
Great spot, yeah.
And he's coming, Toy Story.
That's it. That's exactly it. Those are what they say. It's like the game mechanics or something of how the bodies flop or whatever. Very, very satisfying.
So after a break, Zayn fights back. Sunset Flip Powerbomb gets a 2 count. Goes to the haluva kick, but Kaiser bails. Sends Zayn into the ring steps and does that thing where he runs around and drop kicks Zayn to the steps. That was another point where I thought he was dead.
Put that spot and like the barricade one, isolate those clips and put them on those Twitter accounts called like Violent Gore. Because the things that I don't want to wake up to being replaced by Sami Zayn taking bumps would be just fine by me.
Zayn just beats the 10 count, but Kaiser jumps on him straight away. Zayn fights back, but Kaiser even rakes the eyes. And
Kaiser Ramon.
Yes, who cradles him with his feet on the ropes, but the ref catches him. Kaiser spends too much time arguing with the ref, so Zayn hits him with an exploder in the corner, goes to the haluva kick, but Kaiser hits him amazingly with an enziguri for a near fall. Zayn counters a DDT, though, into a German suplex, and just before he hits this, by the way, there's a great shot of Kaiser going, no! He gets hit with a haluva kick, 1, 2, 3. This was great, and what came afterwards was just sensational, because it was so well timed, because it's like early on in the show, so you can't rule it out. Mm-hmm. Gunther's come out in his gear, wearing the belt, and he says, I've seen enough. You really want this war on terror is the right place. Tonight is the right time for it. It's time to step up to you and tell you right now, no. Brilliant.
Really, really, really strong stuff again. Sami and Ludwig Kaiser had the type of, like, it's a weird word to use considering how I've just described a couple of the spots, but just had the lovely match you knew they would. You just had a feeling their chemistry would be just liquid pro wrestling, high impact, everything laid in, but nothing to the detriment of the match itself. Just, I can't pretend I will like rewatch this match or think about it in year-end stuff, but then we sort of have this dance about how exactly you're supposed to like assess the quality of television wrestling. And I just think, again, I think this Raw was just a fantastic example of what I'm looking for from a wrestling show, from a broadcast. This was a example of the range that this Monday Night Raw currently has, this roster. You were going to get a match of this standard every single week. And ultimately, you might not remember them week after week after week, but you want to be entertained within the body of the show. And I want to, just while I remember, because there's probably nowhere else where this fits in, I am seeing a lot of, I want to put over my erstwhile colleague Michael Sidgwick here, because he watches all of this the exact same way we do and then offers often sometimes very different opinions on it. There is too much of people not watching WWE in the critic space, because I am increasingly seeing the phrase "not for me." And I don't know what is for you. And it's awful to generalize, but like wrestling fans that can just say as a sort of catch-all, "It's not for me." What of the Raw is not for you? Because I feel like, and it's very much a WWE version of this, but when AEW was at its absolute peak, and I'm not making a WWE AEW thing out of this, because you could probably apply it to elements of, like, I was massively into New Japan for a bit, and I'm a dyed-in-the-wool fed head, so that it's obviously doing something that appealed, right? Like, over 3 hours at this point, I would argue that WWE is offering you so many different variants of what pro wrestling can be. Not all of them, not absolutely all of them, but in much the same way, what I would classify as the peak of AEW. Maybe the summer of 2021. And we know Sidge would go sort of February 2020. But like, that was as much part of its quality, was you weren't massively into this, but here's our own little twist on sports entertainment. Here's our own little twist on comedy. Here's our own little twist on violence, whatever. You want just your straight wrestling? Here's your good straight up wrestling match. Like, the idea at this point that WWE can be, quote, not for me, is something I'm really interested in picking people's brains on, if they can show me evidence they're watching. Because this was a really good match. I would argue the main event was even better, and it was one of the wrestlers' best matches ever.
I'd agree.
Probably. But Raw gives you one of these. Raw gives you one every week, sometimes two. I don't need more than two from a weekly TV show, but it does give you, this was really, really, really good, in brief flashes, great television wrestling. And
you bought that the match was going to happen.
Did. Like that, it left a gear in. Like, if these two in 5 years are, like, if Ludwig Kaiser was meant to the top of the card and him and Sami Zayn are feuding all over again, then they've got loads more gears to go to for a PLE match. Obviously they do. So they know what to leave in the chamber. But yeah, this was that, followed by the Gunther tease, which was funny in and of itself, because obviously it was just really good banter from the Ring General, who's just become like as sardonically funny as any one of your sort of old WWE clown comedic characters. You know what I mean? Like, he is like, R-Truth makes me laugh. So does Gunther. They could not be further apart in their types of like WWE brand comedy. Like, Gunther's playing a troll, but you enjoy him for it. And the fact that he put on his gear to do it shows his like commitment to the bit.
Exactly.
Like, which is so important, because
he comes out in a suit, no one's buying it.
So he's committed to the bit, knowing full well what he's going to do. But it also reminds me of, I've said this loads on podcasts, that take that I've stolen, and I wish I'd saw the first person so I could write down and give them credit. This idea that when Nigel McGuinness entered the gauntlet at Wembley, the subtext is he thought Brian was going to win the belt. Because what's his motivation to enter otherwise? He wants a shot at Brian, right? The subtext here from Gunther is that even in a situation where he's bantering him off, he wants to wrestle Sami when Sami's already wrestled. It's yet more. The whole storyline exists because Gunther is trying to hide that he's afraid of Sami Zayn. This bit within a bit is him being afraid of Sami Zayn, because it's like, all right, fine. Like, you could have done that at the start of the night, but you've wanted Sami to... And Sami would have gone. Sami would have been like,
100%.
Here we go. Right, do you want me now? Do you want me in the main event?
I almost didn't want it to happen because I was like, no, this isn't fair.
It's exactly right. But Sami would have done it. And even in the terms Gunther created that existed for him to take the piss and say no, they were still favouring him. It's very, very layered, sort of intriguing week by week storyline. And I kind of, how they get to this title match is high stakes between me and Sidge. Because it's sort of like, no, it's WWE, it'll probably just be Adam Pearce saying enough. I'm your boss. You got to work a match. I feel like there must be something creative at the end, a creative light at the end of this tunnel for Gunther.
Right, we go backstage where, we see a recap of the issues, let's say, New Day's been having, and then Kofi and Xavier in the back, and Woods apologises, takes responsibility for what happened last week, and Kingston says, water under the bridge, mate, come on. Let's get New Day back on track. We're heading towards our 10th anniversary. Kingston had gone into the archives, found some bootios, found Francesca the trombone. Both got pops, to be fair.
Of course.
And Woods is like, yeah, thanks, it's nice and all that, but it's nice when you're on top, not when you've not been champions in 3 years. And Kofi's like, you know what, that's fine, not going backwards. I've not been making some great decisions lately, really taking ownership of all this. He says, you know what, you call the shots, you be the QB over the next few weeks, and they've settled their differences. An American Made shows up, the Creeds, Ivy Nile, Chad Gable. Chad Gable calls them has-beens who are trying to reignite a dead spark. And Kingston goes, whoa, there goes Uncle Howdy. And they panic. It's got a good reaction. Gable says, yeah, we're done with all that.
Yeah.
We want some real competition. And Woods says, am I in charge? All right, well, let's take on American Made. Gable's like, you want to take on the Creeds? I think you'd be better off staying home playing your little video games. I'm not going to do this justice. Bruce Creed goes, nerds! They all just look at him, even the American Made team.
We said it last week, but surely everybody else did as well. As soon as it featured in that video, we all had like, "How this is your thing." Like someone else
did it in the match as well, didn't he? Like,
yeah, like that's it. So it's like, it's 4 times enough tonight, boss. Make it 8. Like it's a thing now.
I love him.
It's funny.
It's a hell of a thing to have. That and the Brutus ball.
Yeah. Oh, this is it. If it was his one defining characteristic, we might be in trouble, but we know that not to be the case.
Brilliant work along with Julius.
It is. Like the first time Chad Gable probably went shoosh, it might have been half an accident. But this is how these things
take hold in the Wilbur now. So
well, indeed.
So they all just look at him and they go, right, we're going to get the match made. And they leave. And Kofi and Xavier start sort of hyping each other up ahead of the match. And a bloke walks in behind Xavier who doesn't see him, wearing a unicorn hat and with a plate full of pancakes, to which Kofi goes, and Woods is like, what's wrong? You got something on the shirt or something? Doesn't realise. There's another pop of that.
Really, really nice bit of physical comedy that if you haven't seen it, it is a stack like 5 deep probably of pancakes and
they used to yeet him into the crowd basically.
A bright rainbow unicorn helmet. This was lovely. The bit was good. The bit was good with American Made, and I was trying to concentrate on it because I was distracted instantly by yet another unbelievable fit by American Made. Those singlets and knee pads tonight, this American flag stuff. What a great looking act they are.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
Liv and Dom have gone to see the Raw GM about the shark cage, and he's like, yeah, it's official. He says, you've interfered in every title match. Dom said, that wasn't me, that was Tom. He says,
deep law.
And Liv's like, I suppose you're not going to do anything about Rhea Ripley cheap shot. He goes, no, and leaves. And Dom with another great line says, don't let Mr. Potato Head talk to you like that.
Got him good.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best. Anyway, Carlito and JD McDonough show up, and Carlito says, don't worry, I'm going to beat up Dragon Lee tonight. And they say, we'll all be out there for you. And they bump into Ilya Dragunov, who's suddenly very confident because he knows they will not do anything without Finn Balor being there. And McDonough says, yeah, you're looking, we're busy, actually. And Dragunov just goes, keep walking. Well, see you later.
Great dynamic, this. Great dynamic of just like street trash are, from the moment that we've just fawned over the pullback and reveal, just scumbags, just dregs, street trash, right?
Without...
He's at least jacked. He's street trash, but he's street jacked. Like, Ilya Dragunov in a suit will kick the fucking shit out of you.
I think we could win the tag titles from street trash.
Yeah. And like, them setting them up in such a way and framing it as such. Again, I love the push of Ilya Dragunov in which he almost never wins matches.
Yeah.
I love this run. Like, Dragunov is one of the hardest and most dangerous men in the Raw locker room. And like, his win-loss record will be what it will be at this point. But this is a man that ultimately, when push has come to shove, has thus far fallen short. Mm-hmm. And yet, you run in fear of him. And what's great as well is that he's a babyface, because you run in fear of him if you are street trash or in any way you are dishonorable. You know what I mean? If you're a villain on Raw, you don't want anything to do with Ilya Dragunov.
Aside from the number one contenders Intercontinental title match that got him in the four-way.
Yep.
When he had Dom and Dragon Lee in there.
Yep.
Was he even meant to be in that initially? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Some people got moved around, but yeah. His last win on television was July.
Like, wins and losses matter. I do not want to conflate this with some sort of terrible...
And his last win before that was May.
Right. I don't want this to come across like some ancient road dog take, because it's absolutely not. Wins and losses matter massively so. But we've talked about this a million times before. It's getting over and going over, isn't it? Like, other people are going over on Dragunov as he continues to get over.
I think he's won 4 matches since he moved to the main roster on television.
But you stand him in this situation.
1, that went to a no contest. 1, lost the King of the Ring quarterfinal. Lost the Money in the Bank qualifier.
Yeah.
Oh, won by DQ against Bron Breakker. So,
wasn't he half dead in that one?
Mm-hmm. He beat Dante Chen on main event. That doesn't count.
Big one.
Shout out to the man behind Chen XT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 all wins.
Like,
since his main roster debut. But not including when he beat Shinsuke on the night after WrestleMania.
Right, yeah. So he stands backstage with the likes of Street Trash, like with the posture of the friggin' dead man.
Yeah,
like,
I run this place.
Yeah, going over, getting over. Everybody that beats Ilya Dragunov goes over as a result. In the meantime, Ilya Dragunov continues to get over. Wins and losses absolutely matter, but the booking of those and the booking of a character like Dragunov is proof that you can sometimes have it all in wrestling. It requires him to be as good as he is. He is awesome.
Aura, isn't it, with him?
Yeah, he is. His matches make you feel alive. However, like, it's very, very impressive how his year's gone. Very impressive.
Speaking of aura, Dragon Lee's entrance.
Oh my God.
Where the hell did this come from?
Well, and
his first TV win since June, first singles win since March. And I was like, it's not like there he is, because he's always been there, but it's like they've suddenly remembered, oh, I've got Dragon Lee, he's mint.
This had, the presentation here, and I think it is worth drawing attention to this, because it had a lot of the old, I'm hastening to say who I think came out with this quote, because obviously it draws a lot of attention to you whether you want it or not, but I believe there was a certain racket sport aficionado wrestling manager who once echoed the phrase he'd heard, which is that MFer comes out of a box, he gets over.
Yes.
This felt a little bit like they were like unboxing Dragon Lee again, didn't it? It was like, yeah, all right, maybe we've normalized him pretty much. Well, we're going to try and unnormalize him over the course of one evening. This match is going to reflect what he can do. This presentation of his entrance is going to sort of reflect what potential star we've got in our hands. If we, yet again, as WWE, stand a chance of doing our shortcut to a new Rey Mysterio, clue, the shortcut is his stem cells. But we're going to try yet again with our fast-tracking somebody to try and make ourselves a new Rey. This was the old college try. It might not work. I don't necessarily have the faith that in Triple H specifically as a booker to not just end up like...
Booker of the Year.
Well, I did see like quite a good tweet.
I mean, just pack it up now, because there's no point. You might as well do the thing now.
I saw a really good tweet where somebody was like somebody was quote tweeting the story of the Lucha Brothers are just too excited by the opportunities and merchandise. Apparently WWE have already got some like awesome t-shirts in mind. And then somebody quote tweeted, here's the t-shirt, and it was just the LWO one. And it's like, yep, that's sure is Triple H. So it's with something like a Dragon League.
Yeah.
You can never just assume that this red carpet tonight is going to lead to a green one down the line. But hell of a night.
Yeah. He hits a big suicide dive to the floor early. Carlito puts him in a headlock, but he's soon out of that. Hurricane Rana, springboard drop kick. Another drop kick goes up top, but JD McDonough jumps up on the apron. Him and Dom were out there to distract him. Judgment Day take out the LWO, who are also there, of course. And then Rey Mysterio suddenly appeared and wiped everyone out with a dive off the barricade. Dragon leaves with the distraction to get a schoolboy. Carlito kicks out of that, but gets hit with Operation Dragon for the 1-2-3.
Fundamentally a nice showcase, and the very important task that shouldn't go like undermentioned of just keeping the Street Trash LWO rivalry as the back burner project while the big stars in the stables have their big payoffs.
We go to the back where corruption is afoot. The Miz is approached by Karrion Kross. He's like, Kross, what's your angle here? He's like, hey.
What's been your angle? Every single angle you've had in WWE, Kross.
I just want you to be the guy that doesn't care what people think. Hey, just remember, monsters come in all shapes and sizes. I was like, what are you up to? I mean, I know what you're up to, but...
Yeah, he's trying to yet again to claim corruption. A quick thing on this. The Miz, like, R-Truth makes his heroic return and Miz just decks him straight away because he's been corrupted. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Miz believing himself to be a monster and somehow inadvertently find himself in the middle of Last Monster Standing next week would be piss funny.
Yes.
And like Karrion Kross doing me. My plan was effective. Like, did you want him to die or did you want him to get better? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
But just the idea of like the two, and then the Miz, I'm a monster too, pancaked him, something like that. They feel like they might be leading us towards that, and that's pretty funny.
We see the staff of, or some, not all, some of the staff of Netflix on the front row having a great time.
Well, I'm guessing one of the reasons that they were able to attend Monday Night Raw, based on the commentary, they wrapped up the Dump Matsumoto docu-series, the drama, which looks great. I'm hearing good reviews.
I need to watch that,
I kind of want to watch that. But I'm guessing this must be the start of their annual leave, because I listened to every word of the commentary, and it doesn't sound like they've got anything else happening on Netflix this week. So shout out to the Netflix staff. Enjoy Monday Night Raw, and then presumably, I don't know, the Bahamas, another state. You got 50 of them in America, all of them a holiday destination, a dream of mine. Maybe get yourself over to the UK. Buckingham Palace. We're here in Newcastle. We're a mere 6 hours away. We're right on the doorstep. They've all got that time.
If you were hoping for anything from Netflix this week, I'd just say no chance.
That's what you've got.
But also, did you spot who was just behind them? Friend of the channel, Chris Van Vliet. Shout out to him. CVV spotted him, giving the old wee.
Yeah, I wonder what he'll report on it. Speaking of reporting on the Netflix show, I pivot away from that.
Yes.
If there is anything that you might happen to be watching on Netflix this coming Wednesday, assuming that it drops when we think it's dropping globally, because while our American friends sometimes have the problems with the uppers and the downers and the where's the wrestling at, we, to be fair, have problems with clocks. We're not great at the clock math, Cal Trig. But we think we've worked out when it's going to air in the UK, and pending that, it'll be within our work day, and we're going to jump in here.
Yes.
We're going to try and give at very least, a first reaction to the opening episode.
So excited for that. Yeah, we're going to watch the first episode. We're going to watch all 6 before we do our normal work day. But
I might have tried to watch them all before Grand Slam Dynamite, because then later in the week, we're going to do some extra content on it when everybody's had a chance to. It's feeling very bingeable. This isn't it? Feel like everybody's going to be across it. So we've got a couple of Netflix adjacent bits of content coming your way this week that we're very excited about. It's a huge event.
Yeah, and the way that Vince is panicking about it makes it even more exciting.
Just delicious. That tweet from that sad old loser.
Kathy Kelly interviews Sheamus. He keeps calling Pete Dunne Butch, which sounds a bit like bitch. He has a score to settle. As his ancestors always said, there's nothing more dangerous with an Irishman with a score to settle. He says, this isn't an English-Irish thing, but let's make it that way.
Is this...
I'm really scared.
Is this like Miro and Kip Sabian versus Best Friends, or Matt Hardy brackets General? Is this where we've entered with this program? Is this like, hey man, like everything in the Fed's great, don't watch that. Like the whole deal like this week, like, right, guys, I know we've done all the other creative on the whiteboard, but still nobody's really chanting Butch. Like, it's kind of integral to the whole thing because he's supposed to be selling the anger of it, and nobody's doing it. few of them do it in NXT, but I mean, there's not a lot going on upstairs in some of them people. What if we just make the instruction a literal instruction? Call him Butch. Call him Butch. So what they're saying, call him Butch. At least they're saying the word Butch. Give it a try, I guess. Sheamus, Minute Mate. You I can get there if you want. Yeah. Nobody does it.
No.
Nobody does it. Where was Raw?
Ontario,
California.
Yeah.
Yes. The Sunshine State.
yes.
So
They were the sex toy? Oh yeah,
that's right.
arena.
They were.
Or center. I can't remember.
I checked in with Sige because he knows a thing or two about California, and he did say that obviously with it being the Sunshine State, often like when there's like food waste and stuff, the sun will shine down on it, and it'll obviously the aroma. That cartoon, the stink lines. The aroma will like
I know that attracts.
Go far and wide, and unfortunately, that results in a lot of these arenas when you're throwing out yesterday's hot dogs and the like a lot of rodents make their way towards the arena.
It's a shame.
And it was a particular shame when Sheamus was just trying to have a bit of fun, trying to get old Pete Dunne called Butch, but you couldn't hear that because all you could hear was a rare pissing and cat.
I'll tell you what they weren't quiet for. That's what came next. Not The Miz versus Bronson Reed, because that didn't happen.
Nope.
But what happened immediately afterwards. So Bronson Reed's coming out, presumably to kill The Miz.
Yeah.
But Strowman comes flying in off the barricade, takes him down during his entrance. Miz, I don't know where he gets the balls, because I thought he had tiny balls, where he gets the balls from to get in Strowman's face, going, hey, what are you doing?
Carrying cross. Got him.
Bronson Reed hits both of them with a suicide dive. Security come down, and Braun and Bron kill all of them. I will give Joe Tessitore had a fantastic night. I thought last night.
He's getting there quick, isn't he?
His commentary on the main event stuff was sensational. He also had a nice line here about ants attacking elephants because they just chuck security all over the place. Two of them got piled on top of each other and got hit with a tsunami. Strowman, meanwhile, hits two others with a double choke slam. They knock all of them down. They do that awesome spot. I always like it. It's very childish of me, but we've got the giant down. Let's all pile on top of him. Oh, my God. I can't believe that. And then I thought for a split second, as many people did, they're going to break the sodding ring.
Yeah.
They teased the old Mark Henry Big Show superplex spot.
Big
Show Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
They virtually told you, tune in or buy a ticket, and you're going to see that thing you love.
I think they're going to destroy the third hour of Raw. They're going to break it. And say, we can't use it anymore.
I want them to go the whole way. That graphic they produce later on. Sorry, complete there. Is that?
All the security gets killed, and it looks for a split second as well like Strowman's going to do a dive to the outside onto Reed in security.
It's the first time Bronson Reed, and even this was nice, the first time Bronson Reed has ever just thought, do you know what? All right, I won't close my eyes and charge forward into this fight. And it was because Braun Strowman climbed the top fucking rope. And I was like, fair play, actually.
Yeah, I'd stop.
The one thing that brings us to a stop. And then, can we just wrap this sort of up for the
so that was...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And then they did a video package later where, he's had it as part of his Tron. You're like, yeah, very nice. Now, though, with what's happened over the last few months, you're just like, I could see Bronson Reed rampaging King Kong Godzilla-esque against Braun Strowman, destroying a city. Then their faces transform into monsters as well. It was amazing.
What's the stipulation called next week?
Well, you got what you wanted. You said, I do not want a last man standing match. And we didn't get that. So we should all be happy. No complaints from us.
Yeah.
We have got a last monster standing match.
Oh, my God.
Do they count to 10 or do they count to... Right. Yeah, brilliant. I've never really talked about this in the podcast much, but I'm quite into my sody pap. Sugar-free. It's
basic stuff today, innit?
Apple Tango, but it's a sugar-free. Like, I like, these is one of my 5 Apple Tangos a day. Doctor's orders. Dr. Fed's 5 a day.
So I'm not going near you.
5 cans. Gives you big gas. So that's your standard. You can't be having that. Sorry, you can't be having full sugar dough as often as you would like, especially not at my age. Late 30s.
We're all in our 30s.
Fact.
Sidge's birthday the other day. Wish him a belated happy birthday.
Belated happy birthday. He is 39 and feeling great about it. This Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman thing has started to make me feel not just like when I'm enjoying like a cool can of Mountain Dew from a local newsagent that I managed to source on one of my hunts. This right now is the first sip of a glass of Dew in our first venue that we eat at in America.
Oh, God, it's the best. Isn't it?
Around a trip based on a wrestling show that has been taken from glass, inserted into a needle, and directly channeled into my veins. This, like, them two on screen, I just like, it just does something like the back.
Yeah.
Like, I want next week's batten down the hatches type feeling. I want all of the Raw business to be conducted as we head into the last half an hour of what I want, genuinely, right?
You don't need to do anything go-home angly to close out the show, do you? At the end of the day for Bad Blood.
In what is going to be the last third hour of Raw for several months, I want it to pay tribute to some of the worst third hours of Raw and do Raw Derek.
Yeah.
But only Raw Derek.
Raw Underground.
Because half of the staff have left.
Why don't they get fun? They discover the leftover bits of Raw Underground. Brawl all over the arena.
And it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still in place. I would love that. Like, just this idea that like half of the crew have been told, look, go home. We cannot afford the insurance or the lawsuits if something goes wrong.
A mass walkout of security. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Well, like, as well, like, how great were these?
What was the bit that they had? Sorry, no confidence. All the security guys.
Like, Postman Pierce does it for the safety of everybody. So, like, they even make a little bit of fun with it. They say, like, oh, the opening match night is going to be this match between these two big stars. Why? Because then I want them out of the building. And, like, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are both in town, but they're not going to be here very long because I need to protect my PLE match. Like, all that sort of stuff. We don't know the risks attached to this last monster standing match, so we're not taking any chances ahead of Hell in a Cell. Raw's third hour goes out with a bang. Like, see you in January for more action like this. Like, they actually fool people into thinking that the 3 hour Raw all along was goated. Because it
has been, really.
Hey, man, like, I miss the days of Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman and
Raw is Triple X.
Hell of a decade. Just like, they could honestly like tell the biggest and loudest lie and people would believe it to be true if this match is like fulfills its potential with the fun they could have.
I think, and from the interactions between the two of them, I think the danger is, of course, people think they're going to do something insane and it doesn't hit those heights.
It's high expectations.
But I think they work so well together as just monsters. And just chuck some extra bodies in there. Like I got a huge pop last week when Bronson was just using a fan.
I think do the suplex spot as the first thing.
Ooh.
You know how that's how a show goes off the air? And then there was the one time when Cena and Alberto Del Rio had to have a match in it.
That was so good,
which was really cool. I think it's the first thing they do. I think they're brawling straight away. You know, like the last time where the rope came off. I think this is the next logical step. And they wrestle some of them actually on a completely flat surface, and then it goes wherever the hell it goes. Like, gimmick something in the crowd that nobody thinks too much of, like a pre-show panel desk or like a merch stand that is suspiciously in the arena.
Or Byron Saxton.
Love
Byron Saxton.
For them to just career through. And as well, shout out, by the way, to these local indie guys, presumably, or PC trainees or whatever, playing security guards because they were bumping for their money, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were bumping for jobs. They wanted to get noticed. This was good stuff.
I'm trying to find out where they are next week. We'll save that for the preview next week. Because Drew McIntyre came out next. He repeated CM Punk's final words from his promo last week, prepared for this to be the end. He's been thinking about Punk's words, looking in his eyes all week. He knows Punk meant every word. For once, Punk was real. He's ready to sacrifice it all for this to end, and so was Drew McIntyre. He said he's always been honest, always told the truth when it came to Punk. He didn't want to go back inside Hell in a Cell. He's been in the cell before, and it's broken things inside him that still haven't been fixed. He talks about, just like Punk's family, his family has begged him not to be in the match. He talked about his wife saying, get away from him because I can see what it's doing to you mentally. And the crowd just chant for Punk at that point. It doesn't matter, though, what anyone thinks because it's happening at Bad Blood. He promises to make Punk bleed a lot. He says he's going to suffer and feel more pain than he's ever felt. He said it's appropriate that Punk compares himself to the devil because this was always about good versus evil. So he saw himself as a godlike figure, but he's just a man that's easily broken in the past and a man that Drew will break permanently inside Hell in a Cell. He's ready to go, isn't he, that boy?
Absolutely. What to take from this? They've promised you a double juice. Or they've sold you on one at least.
Yep.
If Drew can't bust open CM Punk, that's fine because he's the heel and heels are allowed to like not keep their promises. But then Punk's an awesome bleeder. So if you're doing blood, why not have them both bleed?
Also, did you see someone saying, "Oh, it's a shame that they didn't"? I can't remember if this was an old tweet or whatever, or just Twitter's just all over the place. Someone saying, "I can't believe they didn't let one of the best giggers really go in when he needed to get busted open." Ibu just went bookmarked.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah.
What do you know?
Come on, Ibu, slide in. It was the sort of the dynamic of these two. I said it yesterday. Drew has absolutely like leveled up in this story. And I don't mean that to sound like he wasn't already like a phenomenal level in that character that we were comparing. Remember, we were comparing him to Brett, how it was just like before. It's almost hard to remember the Drew McIntyre pre-CM Punk at this point, but this character was fully formed and loads of fun beforehand. The man that was just like, never believed he was wrong, and it was all triggered by the Jey Usos thing, and God Raw's been f***ing mint for ages, right? Not for me. What bit? Tell me what bit, right? The back and forth, the idea that like how these things are kind of supposed to work, and CM Punk is great at this, is I'll throw the ball up in the air and you get to volley it, and then I'm going to volley it back, and we're giving each other, we're effectively, to keep the tennis analogy going, I guess it's like we're serving each other something. So like Punk last week compares himself to the devil because that's so deeply entrenched in the things he has said and done in the past, and then Drew McIntyre is able to say, yep, checks out, mate, because I always said I was the good guy, and now I can call myself God because I'm your direct opposition, which is simultaneously a babyface and a heel thing to do, the way that pro wrestling works. So that was great. And I just briefly want to touch on why I think, not why I think WWE is as on fire as it is, but yet another example of how WWE is on fire. I was the low guy on the CM Punk promo last week when we sat in this studio, and then did you, the viewer, did you, the listener, I'm going deeper so I get into your ears, and did you, Adam Wilborn, what was that?
Just another.
Did you see how they packaged CM Punk's promo in this beautifully produced tweet, a tweet of all things, on an app that barely functions anymore unless you're wanting to see Komodo dragons eat the daughters of the slaughtered deers? Like,
is that a band name?
I'll check with Murray. They might be on his like Spotify, like sort of most played list. They'll be in Spotify rap slaughtered of mothered deers.
I did see this because you texted me about it last night.
Did I message you? I was just too excited. I think I sent it to 3 separate people. I was so excited. Oh my God. For those that haven't seen it, it's the still camera that they've used a lot with the likes of Bron Breakker to sort of show you how fast he is, or like when there's a really hard hitting match and then it's like, whoa, now we're going to go to the corner. They're fighting over there. Still image of Punk in the ring. It's not been tinkered with. It is the promo he's actually cutting. You can just enough see the lips moving.
Yeah.
He's cutting the promo. But then, as Punk is doing some recap elements, you see those superimposed onto the ring.
So good.
So you see like what he said, you blooded me in Chicago, and you see the famous Drew dropping him, and then you see him Punk like when he'd eaten the jam. You see that superimposed onto the ring. And then
it's got so thrown when it pans.
Well, and this was the bit, right? So you're already, that's a really cute effect. This is effective. And then he says, maybe I was like foolish to think it was over. And it pans from the ring that you were staring at to CM Punk stood on the commentary table where Drew does the WrestleMania spot of taking him out with the leg
slides out from under the ring, yeah.
It pans to the other side of the ring from the same night where Drew was being put on the stretcher.
Punk's being put on the stretcher.
Excuse me, Punk's been put on the stretcher, cuts back to the ring, and the words that CM Punk are saying are being superimposed onto sort of add not just depth of field within the shot, but depth and gravitas to the terms about him being just too stubborn.
Oh my God.
Mama number
Honestly,
5 stars.
That's why you're the best in the business. That's why you're the OTJ. Honestly, like, if I was Lou Bega and I was like singing about all the love interests in my life, there would just be different CM Punk promos. Like a little bit of MJF from Dynamite, a little bit of Raw, and Twitter makes it nice. And then I'd just be like lining them up.
Yeah.
Brilliant. This was brilliant.
Interesting fact, Lou Bega, German.
Is he?
Did his song as part of the Build to Bash in Berlin.
I was thinking to myself, how and why does Wilborn know that, other than for like a local radio quiz show where you might have been giving away like Ludwig Deluxe Greatest Hits.
Did I tell you I was listening to the radio the other night and I was going to the shop and someone did what's this noise? And I thought, let's get that on the podcast.
There was I'm not going to name and shame the DJs, but there was 2 drive time DJs just had stolen Alan Partridge's "What You Doing and Who's With You" called "Home or Not Home," which, like, can you even call that? Like, I know we're not me and you.
Is that not also potentially quite close to my feature, Door or No Door?
I was just going to say, right, me and you are not really into puns and wordplay, are we?
Nah, not for me.
But Deal or No Deal requires either the first letter, which you've accomplished, or at least rhyme. Real or no real, and it's a quiz about films.
Yes.
That's at the top of my dome.
Yes,
is, right?
perfect.
But home or not home? Well, I'm going to be one of those 2 places. That's every listener. That's everybody. Nobody's got a special story.
Yeah.
Are you home or not home? And what you doing? And who's with you?
Yeah.
Well, so anything.
I can feature that.
Can text.
That's just messages.
That is just please text me.
Yeah.
That's the whole feature, and they've just thought, how can we wrap a title around? Please text. Please subscribe.
So after the Drew McIntyre promo, Pete Dunne twats Sheamus with a cricket
Let us know
bat.
if you listen to the Raw review. Are you home or not home? Where are you listening to it? Who's with you? Actually do. I genuinely take intro and
Where's the weirdest place you've listened to or watched the podcast?
Matt Rains has sent us videos before he's listened to it in his car. I love it when people say that they listen to it on runs because it might not look like it, but I used to enjoy a run from time to time. And podcasts and runs, they're crucial to training.
Shout out to James Rice, who might have been listening to it on a 5.5 hour drive, but I read your email to the office earlier on today, James, telling us about all the animals you have to dodge driving home from wrestling shows in Australia.
It's my own fault because I asked for stories about people's own encounters with animals in America, and indeed, as James pointed out, in Australia. I shouldn't have done it. Crime Watch used to say, like, right at the very end, they've just given you an hour of horrific crime that could happen to you at like 10 at night, and then they're like, don't have nightmares. All right, then that's fine. Maybe just tell me that at the start of the show. And I'll think I'll watch something else. It's my fault. I welcomed all this to my door. Much like apparently in America they welcome crocodiles and snakes and spiders to your door. I nothing but respect for how you do it. I'm scared enough of dogs, domesticated dogs. Put the willies up me.
They do what? Sheamus got hit with a cricket bat by Pete Dunne.
Is he drawing a dog? Yeah. Fine. Like, is that part of it now? Creators 2 weeks of cricket.
They have a cricket match. Well, that was some of my favourite things combining wrestling and cricket.
Yeah, but when you say a cricket match, that is just 2 cricket teams playing cricket.
Yeah.
How's that work? Just Sheamus and Pete Dunne bowl a batter.
Yeah.
When he's out, they just keep swapping.
Yeah.
And it's who gets the most
But
runs.
if you're going for a run, you can also hit someone with a clothesline.
All right, with the bat. Did you ever play quick cricket when you were younger?
Of course.
Spelled with a K because it's cool.
Cool.
Quick cricket. I like that.
Carl O'Reilly came up with that, you know.
Quick cricket. Because the thing you ran to was at the side, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And and do you know why I liked it?
What was the one where like French cricket or something where you had to couldn't get hit in the legs? Maybe that's just a game my parents invented. I don't know.
So you couldn't bowl a ball at your dad's shins or something like that. Do you play rounders at school?
Yeah.
Do our American listeners or viewers know rounders, like softball?
Yeah, softball.
It's a version of baseball, your national pastime, but we used to play rounders, and it's just a bit more. It's very England versus America rounders because it was just baseball, but like the bat was smaller, the ball was smaller. It was nowhere
milky, wasn't it?
Yeah, nowhere near as glossy, and you couldn't obviously in baseball, whack the ball and then you launch the bat wherever the frig you like because they're all wearing helmets. Like goes in the crowd. Oh my God, I can cuss somebody. Tough buddy. Eat some peanuts and chill out.
Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
I only know him from
Babe Ruth.
Liar.
Seth Rollins. The Macho Man Randy Softball. In rounders, you're like in PE at our school, if you threw the bat, you were penalised for it.
Yeah.
You had to just gently drop the bat and Mr. Bean looking ass your way around. And they weren't bases because that'd be cool. God forbid it was cool. It was stations. He was on base station. Oh, you threw the bat a bit too hard towards first station. Why do I live in this country?
Back to Monday Night Raw and
Rugby.
Bianca Belair.
Not the NFL, is it?
Jey
Imagine if we had rugby in space. That's the NFL, basically.
Yeah. Who's your team if you've had to have an NFL team?
Miami Dolphins.
Of course, you have mentioned this
Love
before.
the colour scheme. Love just out Florida-y, really. And they were such a big deal when the NFL had its, like, boom over here in, like, the very early 90s.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about the football on TV, but I remember people in school had Dolphins attire. Yours are the Colts.
Man, the Colts, they're rubbish.
Indianapolis? Colts?
Indianapolis, baby. Trying to find your Dolphins results recently. Ooh. Battered by the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh dear. Is Ryan Tannehill still the QB?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay.
We also got beat by the Buffalo Bills.
What are they? What's their? I was going to ask how many points they've got, but of course Americans don't score in points.
No.
Are there any American?
They've won one game. They're 1-2.
That's after 3
And they
games.
beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, shove it up your dick and balls. For any of our American friends, is there any sports, as you call it over there, where there is a league with points rather than wins and losses?
Yeah.
I would be fascinated to know. Like the MLS has points, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
It goes into a playoff.
I was going to say, God forbid the amount of the most points wins.
No.
I'm sure it's no. Why would we do that?
Both of our teams are 1-2. Colts 1-2.
Outside of Major League Soccer, please let us know. A, you scary animals. B, if any of your sports have got points rather than win and losses and Division L qualifiers and stuff like that.
I wouldn't worry. I think the Chiefs are going to win it again this year.
Are they the kind of Patriots of this era?
A bit like that.
Patriots had a run,
Less
didn't they?
cheaty.
Yeah.
Although, actually, they have been getting some dodge. I don't want to get into it. I don't really know enough to get around it. Patrick Mahomes is great.
It's never stopped us before.
Nah. But
Anyway, NFL better than rugby. You've done it again, America.
it is good, yeah. I never played rugby. Do you want to play this? No, thank you.
We had to. It was big in. I went to school in Yorkshire, and it was big around there.
Boy.
I married into somebody from Wigan, which is a rugby hotbed in the UK. And everybody denies how parochial and small it is as a sport. Rugby fans like to pretend it matters on a larger scale, where in reality it's basically the across the Pennines and for nobody else.
Yeah.
But it's a big deal if you have small goals. Sorry, no offense to people that like rugby. I don't know why I did that. I think I'm projecting.
Wrestling's better.
Wrestling is better. I think I'm projecting because for years I had to go down there and listen to the thing about, footballers don't have to go down easy off a tackle. Yeah, well, at least people watch them.
Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill bump into
Don't like rugby.
Io Sky and Kairi Sane. They've not forgotten that amazing match they had last week. Belair says, I look forward to facing you again. It's going to be different then, though. Sky says, yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, because next time it's going to be for the tag titles. And they say the tag titles aren't going anywhere. They're going to NXT, I think you'll find. But then we got a very predictable match. Io Sky and Kairi Sane versus the Unholy Union. Who's going to win this one? Unholy Union, former champions, just had a title shot as well. Io Sky and Kairi Sane, surprising that they didn't get the title shot in the first place, just pinned one half of the tag team champions. Yeah, they beat the Unholy Union. Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn did great in here as well. They dropped Kairi Sane on the apron face first, took out Sky to take us to a break. When we come back, Io Sky finally makes the hot tag, takes out both women with a double springboard drop kick. Sky comes off the ropes and eats a huge super kick from Alba Fyre. That gets him a 2 count. Also a cheap shot from Isla Dawn, got a 2 count for the Unholy Union. But Sane takes out Fyre with an insane elbow outside the ring.
Oh my God.
Sky hits Dawn with a moonsault 1, 2, 3.
Kairi Sane had her best night in ages, which was nice because it does feel like Damage CTRL are going to get something of a push here. If not, they're probably not going to win the belts, but they're going to get a little bit of a run as baby faces, which is interesting because it did force Bianca and Jade to skew a little bit heel in the backstage promo. And I think you probably picked up on this too. It was interesting to me, or it was of note. I'll say it was probably nothing for right now, but of note that they, like, as they should have done, by the way, because this women's division hasn't got loads going for it. They leaned into the critical acclaim that Bianca Belair Io Sky match got and deserved from last week's Raw. But Bianca was able to say, look, yeah, you got us that one time, but, it wouldn't happen again, tag belts. And then Jade Cargill was quite forward of the, you may have caught her out, the loser, but you won't catch us when we're a tag team. That was a bit of a dig, wasn't it? A little bit of a dig. Like, the first probably ever time.
Starting.
We've seen, like, but, and... that has always been the purpose for this, and I guess the stuff with the Unholy Union did muddy the waters a little bit.
Yeah.
And this to me felt
Unless
like
they've corrupted them.
Well, indeed. Magic Powers have been pretty much, isn't it? Yeah. Wrestlers. I'll never work. But that felt like the first little tease of that. And I do expect them to beat Damage CTRL.
And I think if they introduce mid-card titles, I think someone like Alba Fire is kind of perfect for something like that. I like Alba Fire a lot, but I'm very biased because she was awesome in WCW.
I'm not so sure that's the move. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think trios belts might be the answer for that.
I think trios would probably. I think I'd prefer trios
over a singles title. Like NXT, they've been able to get away with the North American one, but main roster, I think so.
It's getting defended tonight, of course, after Ren Sinclair took her opportunity. One could say. We'll preview that later on today. Yes, the biggest wrestling show of the goddamn week, and an emotional send off.
It's a go home. It's a fallout and a go home, isn't it? One of your favourites.
Kathy Kelly, this is, interviews Bron Breakker. So this is game day, which meant the dogs are barking in Ontario.
You want to be in the building for that, don't you? He's going to say that in your town and you want to be in the building.
I want to be a dog.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop. It'll be a winner and a loser. But this championship deserves the right superstar to carry it over their shoulder. And it definitely isn't bloody Jey Uso. Full disclosure, I'm watching this going, why are we doing this? We all know what's going to happen in the main event.
We've got to do the dance, but yeah.
I think one of the engagement accounts also was like, even they, the pro WWE ones, went, come on, guys. They'd done like a big WWE, check out this hype package ahead of Raw tonight where Jey fights for this. Come on, guys, we all know what's happening. And then everyone in the place, this tastes like milk, can it, dickhead? Anyway, Bron says somebody's going to get their ass kicked. Somebody's going to get their wig split. It's not going to be him. But I will offer him another shot at the title down the road because he's going to work his way back up. And I'll still be champion by then anyway.
Yeah.
So overconfident.
I bought it.
Yeah. Little, what's this? Little video. Fiery logo appears on the screen as a voiceover says, "Fate is woven." Some people speculated whether or not this was the arrivals of Penta and Rey Fenix, but a shout out to Twitter user Sam at Rhodes Cota Era. The letters were PFR, which is War in Elder Futhark language, which is the oldest form, of course, as you know, of the runic alphabet. It's the Viking Raiders coming back.
Oh my God.
Yes! Viking rules, baby!
Yeah.
Sorry, we've just finished Last Monster Standing. How about some Viking rules?
Get on a boat.
For Christmas.
Smash the boat up, yeah? Viking Raiders come back. It's nice. Welcome addition.
What if Braun and Braun form a tag team? They have to face the Viking Raiders in Viking rules.
Oh my God.
That'd be like a Titanic that wouldn't need an iceberg to sink.
If Braun had been on the Titanic, it wouldn't have sunk. What happened next? 1 second. I'm just going to get this ready for what came next. Oh, wait. This is important to me.
I'm sure.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Where are we? Oh, there we go. Joe Tessitore announced tonight's Raw was the 40th TV sellout of 2024.
You're joking. Not another one?
And then they aired Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. If you want to know our thoughts on it, it's on the SmackDown review. It's perfect.
You knew they'd air it. Like, it's a 3-hour show. You knew they were going to air it.
Yeah. Do you think I skipped it?
I would say you probably watched all of it again.
Not a goddamn second.
Yeah. And then a Raw that you would normally watch on 1.5 speed, so you've got time to watch it before work, you slowed it down to 1 speed to watch it in full properly. Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, correct presenation. Shout out to Josh Brown of What Culture Gaming, who said he also watched it over the weekend because it penetrated socials and he loved it.
Nerds! I can't do it. I want it on the soundboard. Sami Zayn approaches Jey Uso and my heart grows 3 sizes.
Yeah.
Zayn says the IC title means the world to him. Jey, make it yours tonight. And then a moment. Oh, lovely.
And then your brain's going, he's not going to do it again. But like this reminder of the friendship is going to pull him closer. Your brain is just elsewhere. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, man.
Speaking of good stuff, the Creed brothers versus the New Day. American made. I don't know what. American made.
Yeah.
Creed brothers representing American made.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not matching gear from Woods and Kingston.
Mm-hmm. Very matching gear from the Creeds. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You love that, don't you?
I leave it sometimes. Back and forth, first few minutes. Julius Creed gives Kingston a superplex. Woods gives Brutus Creed a superplex. Take us to a break. Woods makes the hot tag, but the ref didn't see it. And he's fizzing. He's getting wound up here. Don't forget, he said, let's keep our eye on the ball. Let's get back on track here. The Creeds double team Xavier Woods as Kingston's foot. Well, Woods makes it for the hot tag, I should have said, because Kingston's held on the apron. Woods hits Brutus with a missile dropkick and manages to make the hot tag to Kofi Kingston, who comes in with chops and drop kicks, takes out both Creeds with a trustful dive, hits Julius with a flying crossbody for 2. Julius ducks Trouble in Paradise, but then Kingston counters his counter and hits Trouble in Paradise. Kingston tags in Woods and takes out Brutus with a flip dive. Woods goes to the top. They've got it. He's about to hit his finish, but Gable jumps up on the apron and Woods is like, I fucking had it with this. Grabs Chad Gable, pulls him into the ring, stomps him in the corner. Rest like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I can feel it.
Turns around, huge knee from Julius Creed. Kingston tries to help, but he gets knocked out of the ring, and the Creeds hit Woods with the Brutus ball for the 1, 2, 3.
A good booking, because this is the sort of thing that American Made and the Creeds should be doing. Good way to pick up a win. They were more, I don't know, like linear with the way they sort of told the story this week with the New Day in terms of just receiving Xavier Woods ultimately as a flawed heel and a flawed person, rather than there were still shades of grey. Triple H is really good at when he's when he's doing these heel turns or like babyface turns. It's like the idea is like, here is this person, but here is this one quality that always shines through, or here is this one negative that gnaws away at them. It kind of like, and he's been doing that with Xavier Woods. This week was the most that has almost like overwhelmed the goodness within him. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of loss of focus and all these kind of like negative traits that leave you just completely on side with Kofi Kingston. But because it's the New Day, as I've said, you are rooting for their reconciliation and their glory, not for their demise. So as the
Raw December 1st, by the way, is probably when they'll celebrate the 10-year anniversary, because it's the end of November.
Okay. That's not right, though, is it? That's not right.
I know they've. I think it must be like their first proper match as proper New Day.
Okay.
I know, because they formed.
Yeah, and then you had like the vignettes for ages. But either way, whatever date they've decided, that becomes the new thing, right? I talked about this at length. You can go back a couple of weeks ago on, it was the SmackDown where Roman Reigns saved Cody after the cage match. I don't know if you remember that one. And I kind of...
It was their first match, by the way.
Yeah.
25th, or presumably this air date, because end of November 2014.
It was on a SmackDown, if I recall.
Do you remember who they faced? Sorry, I realised I just talked over your point about Cody and Roman.
The Colognes.
No, it was a 6-man.
I don't.
One of my favourites ever. Legacy favourites.
A legacy favourite of yours? Titus O'Neil.
Correct. He was one half of a team.
Darren Young.
No. Different team. You've talked about this animal earlier.
Slater Gator.
Correct.
So Slater Gator +1.
Plus. You could say he was driving this team forward if they were a car. Except this doesn't, it's just a part of a car.
I think I'm further away now.
Curtis Axel.
Oh, Curtis Axel, not Bron Breakker.
Steve Engine.
Curtis Axel and Slater Gator. Jesus Christ. Like, I for one am astonished that we're not having the 10-year anniversary of them. Yeah, I forgot my point now. Oh, that was it, yeah. I might have overindulged when I was praising the Roman Reigns. Look at the belt. Look at the Ulafala. Look at the belt. Look at the Ulafala. Loser, stop complaining about the bracelet challenge. Impossible. Right? Because objects can be desirable. They have made this anniversary yet another desirable object. Of course, it's about them winning the tag belts, because the idea is the tag belts are validation that you're the best tag team. But the New Day, 10 years deep, even Kofi is trying to make the point, yeah, I get it, we should get focused. Yeah, I get it, Xavier, you want to win singles titles. But 10 years is validation. That is in itself a prize. Xavier Woods being unable to see the woods for the trees.
For the ease. Call us butter, baby. We're on a roll.
I'll text him that one later because we're good friends. Big E, that is. Yeah, because he can't see the woods for the ease. He's Ebenezer good. He's Ebenezer Woods. We'll just keep this going. It's become a prize, like the Ulafala, like the belt, like the bracelet, like the whatever. It's become its own object of which everything points towards. The New Day's North Star, to use Cody Rhodes' lovely turn of phrase, for the belt. You're just thinking the Woods puns now, aren't you?
No,
this is dead.
Xavier
Woods.
I'm just thinking there's a babyface champion now with a mid-card title.
Who only just last week shared a moment of mutual respect with when they were backstage with Rhea Ripley and
knows what it takes, knows what it feels like to fight to finally get a singles title. Jesus Christ, some of this stuff.
Because Triple H is a gardener because the grass is greener where you water it. And he's sowing the seeds. The seeds of love. I don't have tears for his. I've just got tears for cheers because I'm crying every week watching Monday Night Raw.
And everybody knows your name because it's Raw.
I'd love that. I'd love to be a guy that walks in a room and Hamflet like Norm.
Yeah.
Cheers. That is an unbelievable pickup, Wilborn. That is it. You have done it. You've absolutely done it. And you've done it, right? And I know this, and like people listening and watching don't know this yet, because I'm not going to spoil when you decide to unleash this absolute take of all takes regarding the bloodline, shall we say. But
I'll drop it on Twitter later. I'm just letting my blobby tweet breathe.
That bit of fantasy booking allows for the moment that you have also manifested. That is brilliant, sir. It's funny when people say sir, isn't it, on the internet?
Yeah.
In comment section.
It's just amazing, this. Do you want to talk about the other Woods bit now? Because I'm in the mood for it.
Wrap it up.
They're backstage, and they're annoyed, but they're okay with it. And then bloody Rey Mysterio shows up. That's popular he was in the Rumble.
That's exactly. And again, it was him by design, wasn't it? It's like, right, we are illustrating that, like, maybe somebody has gone too far down the heel path here. Like, what babyface never gets booed or hated by anybody other than his own awful son and one crowd one night because of Bryan Danielson? Brilliant.
Ray walks up with the LWO and says, I'm really sorry about everything that happened last week, Xavier. And he's like, piss off. He says, hey, come on, you can get through this. You're the New Day. And Woods says, yeah, thanks for this unsolicited advice. Maybe you'd be better suited for your son.
It was an unsolicited apology, and he's taken to calling him a deadbeat dad.
Ray's like, I haven't got time for this. Like, I'll be the bigger man. I ain't got time for this. I got to deal with Finn Balor next week. And Woods is like, oh, not good enough for me now, are you? Oh, Finn Balor, he's a world champion. Kofi Kingston's had a singles title as well. Just because I've never had a singles title, you don't even talk to me, will you? And Ray's like, I've had it with this. I'll kick your ass next week. And Kingston's like, why are you so upset, Woods? He's like, shut up. I hate you as well. He didn't say that part, but he was wound up at that point.
Just the ability, while wound up, while fired up, adrenaline pumping, to be able to, like, tie Finn Balor and Kofi Kingston together based on singles title success.
Yeah.
Just it bursting out of him. This is such a great story. Again, there's the destination. Sorry. My penis can only get so erect, I'm afraid. I've only got 2 huge episodes of NXT. I've only got Bad Blood. I've only got Survivor Series War Games in Vancouver, British Columbia. Now I've got the Raw, which marks 10 years of the New Day, because what the fuck is going to happen there? It's like looking forward to a wrestling wedding.
If they announce...
Pin the invite on the fridge.
I'm going to start feeling sick if they say Big E's going to... Like, he's not going to wrestle or anything like that, but he's going to be in attendance to celebrate.
Yeah.
I feel sick already.
Yeah, I'm feeling sick. I'm feeling sick to my stomach, GR. Just thinking about it now.
There was a nice video promo from Damian Priest talking about Finn and my brother's keeper. Basically talked about, they had this amazing time together in the Judgment Day, and yet Finn Balor, there's always something off about him. He was envious when Rhea was champ, despite the fact that Damian was just happy for Rhea. And when Priest became champ, Balor just was envious. Balor's not his brother anymore. He's going to rip his heart out.
Like, nothing special. Like, I still find these Damian Priest promos a little bit cheesy, but this wasn't by any means bad. And just to sort of use this to illustrate the point I made at the top of the podcast, this was it for him and Finn. Rhea and Liv was wrapped right at the beginning, and Drew and Punk was one promo. The rest of this Raw was looking beyond Bad Blood.
We got an Uncle Howdy video. I am but dust, a worm, a rebel. You cast your light of countenance upon me and said I shall live. The words of the red you speak, we follow. No idea.
No clue. Not going to do the legwork. Plenty of people will, and they'll have a great time doing it. And it looks like, yet again, even just from little
And
glimpses.
they've completed their first successful feud.
Yeah, like based on glimpses from what I've seen on X, people that have followed it or whatever are being rewarded with various videos and things. So WWE are putting in the work, which means that the people that are into this will put in the work, and where us thickos that simply just don't care as much about this will be shown it when they bludgeon somebody like they tried to murder Chad Gable. There will be a point at which you're like, oh, them, that's who they're going for.
Yeah.
And as you point out, because the first storyline was successful, why wouldn't we think the second one would go well too? I will wait with bated breath for it to go wrong, but hasn't yet, so on we move.
Speaking of creepy things, it's now time for the I hit you with this yesterday on the Raw preview to test your noggin, and obviously Sidgwick just couldn't handle it, which is why he's not here today.
That's what he said, didn't he?
Yeah, he said got too much of the creeps. So I ate.
Creep Brothers. You ate? Is that what the kids have been saying on X about it? Wilborn ate with that riddle?
Slay Queen.
Is that even a thing now? I don't think that's a
Who
thing.
were you telling me about? Booby Dooby earlier.
Be a badooby, you disrespectful twat.
Booby Dooby! Hey everybody, it's me, Booby Dooby! Who likes boobies? Who likes doobies? Well, guess what? You got both here. I'm going to see.
Tits and splits with Booby Dooby. Be a badooby, the musician, who me and Josh Brown were talking about.
I'm so old, I'm sorry.
Before friggin' Statter and Waldorf, Wilborn and Murray heard funny words.
Booby Dooby. Booby Dooby! Booby Dooby! Booby Dooby! Singing all the songs, Booby Dooby.
Aerosmith song. Booby, booby, dooby on her head. Booby, dooby, booby, dooby. Anyway.
Shout out to Booby
Be a badooby.
Shout out to Booby Dooby if she's watching.
Well,
Probably not on her phone.
Well, no, exactly. That's how this conversation got started. I felt a bit of a vindication for how people should behave at gigs. That's all I'll say.
Anyway, I hit you with this yesterday. The riddle is a word I know, 6 letters it contains. It made me creep out a little bit there. A word I know, 6 letters it contains. Remove 1 letter and 12 remains. What is it?
Right, hang on. This reminds me of an old riddle my dad used to do, but it was written down. I'm just going to spoil it, but you can try this on your kids, which is advice we give, frankly, too often on this podcast.
If you type in 58,008 on a calculator and turn it upside down.
See what happens.
Booby Dooby.
The riddle is, but it's written down. Like, you draw, 9 boxes, and the boxes are meant to illustrate stables. Right? And it's like, how would you fit 10 horses in 9 stables? Right?
Shoot one of them.
And that's the answer to this week's riddle.
That's why I'm not a trainer anymore. Well, I'm sorry, son. It's only the 9 stables.
Imagine if that's the answer.
I don't know, how do you fit 9 horses, 10 horses into 9 stables?
That's it. You put a slug in one's head. No.
What do you do?
Shoot. It's not a great riddle, Dad. It's really.
Yeah, you gotta, someday you gotta learn, son.
I thought this was a riddle. I didn't realise it was the brutality of horse ownership. What do you mean you've got us a bucket of glue for Christmas? You're right. 10 T-E-N. 10 horses. And then so
Oh, I see.
10 horses.
10 horses.
9 letters when written down.
There you go.
And that's what got me thinking about this one. Can you just say it one more time?
A word I know. A word I know. 6 letters it contains. Remove 1 letter and 12 remains. What is it?
Right. I think.
Don't do it. Okay, go on.
Right, so 12, the word, has 6 letters.
No, but you have to take a letter away.
Oh.
And then 12 will remain.
I was going to add
12.
I was going to add a letter. And so I've got that wrong way around. So my brain was thinking.
You're dancing around the right answer, by the way.
12? I was trying to add a letter to it. One more time on the
A
arrangement,
word
please.
I know, 6 letters it contains. Remove 1 letter and 12 remains. What is it?
I'm not going to get it.
You're so close.
I know. I can feel how close I am. Is it? Oh.
Hang on. I'll get the button ready. Ready? Go on, hit me with it.
Shoot one of the horses.
Not the right answer.
I don't know.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Dozens. Shout out to all the bakers out there.
It's good, yeah. Oh, if you work at a Greg's,
Can I have some pasties?
can I have some pasties or some
There's a video for the Pure Fusion Collective.
What's your gun to horse's head? What's your Greg's choice? You have. I'm going to give
So
you.
that I genuinely sometimes just buy 4 sausage rolls.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I eat a few of them. Normally it's like if we're on a long car journey and it's a great like, oh, I've got a sausage roll.
Yeah.
But yeah.
£5 note. What are you coming out with Greg's? Well, these days about half a steak. Maybe.
Yeah.
You get the gist.
Yeah, I do love a chicken bake.
Yeah. Don't have it very often, but I like it.
Yeah, or a steak bake.
Yep.
Can't eat a vegan sausage roll. Makes me violently ill.
Really?
Yeah,
There's
because it's
something in
got
there?
corn in it.
You're not a corn guy,
It's
are you?
my kryptonite.
Do you like the beef and vegetable pasty? I'm a fan of that.
I've not had that.
Oh, it's like
I'm kind of a basic bitch when it comes to my Greg's order. I don't really like the pizza.
My kids go nuts for the pizza, but it's not for me. I think they just love it because it's like, whoa, a slab of food.
Yeah.
Which you would think is my cup of tea, but I just like different slabs.
Yeah. Different slabs for different.
Have you ever, I feel like Sid should be here for this, but I think he'd try it, and now I might have just changed what I'm going to get for my dinner today. Have you ever
felt like this?
How strange things happen. Hollowed out.
I knew it was, if you'd have put a gun to my horse's head, I'd have said he's going to say hollow out something.
You ever had a steak bake or a pie in a sandwich? I think it's known affectionately places some as a Wigan kebab, but I just think of it as a pie butter.
I actually do like the sound of it. It would have to be white bread.
White, so it's a bread roll, a bun, a cob.
Yeah.
Bam cake. I hate that one. Bread cake. It's not any kind of cake.
Don't try and trick me.
What do Americans call buns?
Yeah.
Burger buns.
Yeah, but
You're British barm cakes. I had this beautiful, they have it for breakfast over here. I had a beautiful sausage stottie.
bap.
Why is it in Scotland? There's a really weird thing in Scotland where they're like, a roll with bacon or something.
Yeah, it's a roll with bacon.
A roll with bacon, sir. Like the famous Robert Roy himself. I do believe the stand-up comedy of William Connolly is our entertainment this evening. Shall we care for a roll with lawn sausage? That's how they talk.
That's how they talk.
In the office. He puts on the Scottish accent for the videos. Aye. Steak bake or a pie?
Batch, bomb, cob.
Batch. Get out. Mine, cob's not great, but I just grew up with cob, so that's fine. My mum still says you want a cheese cob.
So it's written oven bottom. What's that even meant to mean?
Those are those buns where it's been like burnt almost, blackened at the bottom for like a crispier texture.
No, thank you.
Like a tiger roll or a giraffe roll, as they've been.
Yeah, why?
Surely the same thing. It's just different pattern, isn't it? You get more giraffes on violent gore than you get tigers generally. You see like lions like jumping a giraffe from behind.
Oh, sorry. Tea cake, cob, bomb cake, barra.
Barra?
That's Wales. That makes sense. Bap, bread cake, softy in Aberdeen. I always like to, when I'm eating a sandwich, sometimes I'm trying to like just swallow. I have to thumb in a softy sometimes. Bar, muffin, bun, stotty, morning roll, batch, oven bottom roll, scuffler.
Right, so a scuffler I've seen in Great Store. So yeah, shove a steak bake in a scuffler. Come back to me.
I will.
Any kind of like pie or bake sort of pasty type thing, surprisingly well as a sandwich filler.
There was a video for Pure Fusion Collective.
Yeah, like they're trying, I guess.
And then it was time for the main event. Jey Uso challenging Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental Championship. Jey does his usual amazing entrance through the fans and hits a suicide dive to take us to a break just 90 seconds into the match. When we come back, though, Bron hits a power slam and takes control, sends Jey into the corner, hits an overhead suplex. They keep trying to vertical suplex each other. Bron drops Jey over the top rope, hits a backbreaker, but then lets go of his cover at one to do push-ups.
Oh my God.
Taunts Jey, who comes back with a kick, tries for a suicide dive, but Bron knocks him down, smashes his head against the announce table, and then tries to kill both of them, jumping off the apron.
Amazing.
Oh my god.
Jey comes back, strikes to everyone shouting, yeet, yeet. Running hip attack, but Bron avoids the splash, hits a gutbuster for 2. Jey hits a pop-up Samoan drop for 2. Bron hits a Frankensteiner for 2, and we get a This Is Awesome chant.
Oh my god.
Quite rightly.
Mm-hmm.
Jey gets out of the ring, so Bron just nails him with a spear. Gets back in the ring. Bron drops the straps. Sets up for a spear. Bounces off the ropes a couple of times, but Jey hits him with a spear of his own. Hits an Uso splash.
Oh my god.
That's it. And add Bron to that club. I know Cedric isn't here, but I'm sure he'll agree with me on this one. Your Roman Reigns, your Kenny Omegas, Kurt Angle, your 2.999 club. Bron Breakker's kick out here was amazing. So well timed.
Yeah.
So much so that the fans chanted, "Ref, you suck."
Brilliant.
Brilliant near fall.
So
but you
hot.
also watch that thinking, well, there it is.
I've had my chance, but we know where the result is going. It's a furnace in there.
Bron is fired up now. Jey rolls to the outside, and you think, oh, God, here we go. Jey's going to be speared through the barricade and chucked back in.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Bron fires up, runs around ringside. The camera follows him brilliantly. The shot construction on this was amazing. You just see Bron's head snap back because he gets nailed with a super kick.
Oh my
Oh my god.
And then you think,
God.
oh my God, role reversal. He can hit a spear now.
Yep.
He spears Bron through the barricade, and you think,
Oh my god.
and I thought, then you're panicking, you're going, double count out.
double
You're
count
gonna
out. I was thinking Bloodline might appear at ringside,
Yeah.
do some damage, whatever.
Finn's going to cost him. Where's
Yeah.
Finn been all night? Jey grabs him, shoves him back in the ring. Another spear. Wait a second. He goes up. Joe Tessitore, brilliant here.
Best call so far.
Fantastic work. Goes up. He's as giddy as we are. He's going up. He's going up. Uso splash. I've watched this. I watched the footage. I watched it on the show. I've watched it about 4 different times on social media.
Yeah.
I've watched different angles from in the crowd.
I like them
And
fan
I've,
yeah.
and I've watched the lovely post-match thing, which we'll mention in a second, of Jey celebrating it. Uso splash. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my god.
Me and you, we talked about this in the office earlier. Both of us separately at home were like, he's done it!
Last minute winner. Punch in the air, off the sofa.
Ollie
the whole deal.
Watkins! He's done it!
It was amazing. It was amazing.
The roof comes off the fireworks. He's done it!
It was such
We
a...
were so flippant yesterday on the preview. Nah, he's not winning.
Of course we were. Of course we were. What a joyous, joyous occasion this was. This is one of my fondest memories watching wrestling in 2024. And 2 of them are already Jey Uso's entrance to WrestleMania and Jey Uso's exit. And that was the problem, wasn't it, ultimately? And the cause of solution of all of Jey Uso is that everything that had gotten him over was made him kind of undeniable as a megastar, but the matches are never there.
Yeah.
This is his best match ever.
Yeah.
As a singles wrestler ever.
I agree.
Fantastic this was, not just for the stuff you've highlighted, the Bron Breakker kick out, the timing, execution, and indeed shot set up for the super kick spear. Oh my God, and the fact that it was as over in the building as it was when they would have been able to have an idea that it was coming really tells you the investment in the characters and the stakes got this over as much as we can put over the sort of stuff that they can do on a technical level. But if it dies in the building, it doesn't matter how good your technical stuff is. This was white hot in the building, and I think what they managed to do to us was what they did to the people in the building, which was ask after that kick out, can Jey Uso actually do this? All of a sudden, 6 prior attempts to become a singles champion,
Something like that,
were brought into the sharpest possible focus, which is so incredible because Bron Breakker got called up from NXT this year. But all of a sudden, you were treating him like it's friggin' trying to break the Undertaker's streak.
I want someone, and I assume someone's going to make it if WWE aren't going to do it themselves. I want a compilation of all the, maybe he's going to win this one. Oh, no. He's got a world title shot. Oh, no.
Yeah.
All that, and then mix this in. If you see that on social media, send it to me because I love those sorts of things.
And it's been there's been multiple stories of, you can't just say the story of Jey Uso because there's been loads of them. This last 12 months, I've just, I wax lyrical all the time on this podcast. I've just become the biggest Jey Uso guy because he's symbolized more than anything else what I believe matters most. I always feel nervous saying that, but
how many moments has he had over the last couple of years?
And the matches really haven't been there. And you do. I will concede that you do need the matches at some point, and here was the matches.
Great tag main event.
Tags are never in doubt. Yeah, never in doubt. And that's ultimately one of the reasons why people are so with him as well, because of all the years he's put in the bank. His credit score with fans is through the roof.
Man, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says.
So just
take the shirt off.
A celebration of everything this was. A celebration of life, a celebration of Jey Uso, the success you rooted for. The
nice tweet from Triple H as well from this.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Everyone's happy. See Rhea's for his entrance as well.
I went and watched the Rhea Ripley video. I'm doing that behind the scenes. I want so much to be in the building every week. Jey Uso's in the building. That to me is a draw in wrestling. If the years and years and years of WWE as a draw, WWE as a brand didn't beat this joy out of our system, because you want to be hyped for stars like this. You want to be in this man's presence. That's why he's such an effective babyface.
Yeah.
I don't know how long this title reign is going to last. My gut feeling is that it goes back to Braun, because the bloodline can't sanction it. That's my feeling, is that at some point down the line it is switched back. I love what you've stumbled upon as a kind of you probably got your sources. The Xavier Woods interaction last week, and how that one thing could very seamlessly flow into another in that Triple H finding the link way. I think the award needs changing in the Observer this year. I don't think we need promoter. I don't think we need Booker and Cooker. I think Triple H has a sewn up executive producer of the year.
But just a show that I thought, it's kind of be a wheel. How many times we used to sit here years ago and say it's a wheel spinning episode we're a fortnight away from the pay. Everything's
so we can get to the pay per view where we spin the wheels.
Yeah, and yet, what an ending to this show! Mm-hmm. What an ending and what a start as well.
Yeah, it just
wall to wall. I love this show. I thought it was great.
A really, really strong Raw, and like I say, a go home where the 3 currently matches that it's going to be promoting. Again, need no more, got no more here. You can't help feeling like next week's Raw will be a go-home only because we're putting it in the bullet. Listen on our podcast, it will feel like it is.
It'll be the second bullet point, because the first one will be Last Monster Standing.
Well, indeed, yeah. The stuff you're paying off, plus the stuff you're looking past the pay-per-view.
Barely worth mentioning.
Back to the 2 hours, it's going to be a go-home show for NXT.
People are going to be crying out at that 2 hours. Can it go back to 3, please?
I wonder if it might just be us 2 on that one, but nonetheless.
NXT 3 hours, might as well.
Why, yeah?
Speaking of which, NXT preview coming away later on today. Subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling to get that one. Let us know your thoughts on this show at WhatCulture WWE. Actually, you can follow both of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn, where you can find us just at those handles as well on Cameo. Don't order it through the app because they take loads of money from us. Order at cameo.com/our names, basically.
Go to Cameo, search our names, spend some money, and we'll be dickheads on the internet.
Even more
than we already are here. Which is, that's a high bar we're setting for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, we'll be back later on today to preview NXT. For now, though, this has been the Raw Review. My thanks to Michael Hamflett. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.